Two nations, one history, and a pain that still hasn't healed. India versus Pakistan, but no one's brave enough to say, I'm going to say all those things in today's video.
People are seriously worried that a war could break out between India and Pakistan after a deadly attack in Kashmir. It all started when gunmen opened fire on tourists in the Indian-occupied part of the region, killing 26 people. A group called the Resistance Front said that they carried out the attack. But here's where it gets dangerous, because the Resistance Front is believed to be linked to a group called Lashkar-e-Taiba, a banned militant group based in Pakistan with a history of major attacks against India. And India has long accused Pakistan of looking the other way or even quietly supporting these kind of groups. So now there's a real fear that India will strike back aggressively, not just inside Kashmir, but inside Pakistan's borders. And this is terrifying because both countries are nuclear-armed states. They've fought multiple wars with each other before, and any serious escalation could once again push them over the edge. The question is, what happens next? Will India retaliate? And if it does,
I'm not here to fuel the fire. I'm here to ask a different questions. What are we fighting for? And what are we fighting against? If you stand for truth and justice and don't care for popularity, my channel is for you. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss my future videos. I am Pakistani and I stand by my country, but I also stand for justice, truth, peace, and people. Because pain feels exactly the same on either side of the border, no matter what your flag says. Pakistan is often painted as the villain and the aggressive party, but Pakistan stands for justice. However, India has a more favorable image in the West as a democratic government. But India is illegally occupying Kashmir and their right for autonomy for 75 years that they promised, literally 75 years ago. And they haven't given Kashmiris the right to vote yet. Their right for autonomous government was taken away by President Modi in 2019. And I'm going to get into the details of that. Pakistanis just want to have Kashmiris to have the right to vote, period. They are not standing for hate. They are standing for justice. Let's get to the bottom of Kashmir conflict. And I also want to share Pakistan's position more in detail. But first, I want to share a very informative TikTok that I found.
Kashmir is under illegal occupation by India, and the recent attack in Kashmir is a false flag operation by the Indian state to perpetuate violence against Kashmiris and legitimize occupation through brutality. If you don't know what I'm referring to, on April 22nd, a group of militants attacked tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir, resulting in the deaths of 26 people. The majority of the victims were Hindu tourists, and this fact is being used to fuel a war by India against the Muslim communities in Kashmir and Pakistan. Despite the fact that among the victims were actually several Muslim Kashmiris, and despite reports that multiple people were saved by local Muslim Kashmiris. Now, for a little bit of background, Kashmir is contested land, an area claimed by both India and Pakistan. Now, it's currently under Indian control, but for decades, Kashmir was granted special autonomy by Indian law under Article 370, which essentially granted them the right to govern based on their own constitutional law. That is, until 2019, when Article 370 was revoked. India then installed a massive military presence in the region and began undemocratically passing laws that would oppress the majority Muslim population. Kashmiri elected officials were arrested and placed in detention. There was a suppression of journalism and protests, and levels of surveillance that led to accusations of human rights violations. It was an all-out denial of their right to self-determination. And this, of course, led to a rise in resistance efforts against the Indian occupation. Now, one of those resistance groups being the Resistance Front militant group, which is said to be an offshoot of the Pakistani Lashkar-e-Taiba. This group specifically is the one that India is trying to assign responsibility to for the attack. An alleged statement was reported to have come from the group claiming ownership of the attack, but upon review, reporting agencies found it actually uncharacteristic of previous letters written by TRF in which they did claim responsibility for previous attacks. Which of course lends credence to the theory that the Indian state actually perpetuated this attack as a false flag to justify further violence in the region. This also wouldn't be the first or last time Prime Minister Modi has done so to maintain his power in the region. Now, the Indian government has promised incredible retribution for the attack, detaining over 1,500 Kashmiris for questioning, closing its borders with Pakistan, expelling Pakistani diplomats, and fully halting a water-sharing treaty between the two nations. Additionally, Kashmiri students within India had begun facing immediate harassment for crimes they did not commit. This is a case of collective punishment against an entire population and an intentional orchestration that we've seen occur in oppressed societies before.
Over 100,000 Kashmiris have been unalived since 1989 because of all this militarization and suppression and oppression that has been happening in the state of Kashmir. Pakistan's stance on Kashmir is that Kashmir is a disputed territory and the issue should be resolved through UN and public voting. Pakistan supports the right of Kashmiri people to decide their own future. I just wanted to state the facts in this video. But in the end, I want to say that I'm not naive and I know how deep the wounds are on both sides because multiple lives have been taken and emotions run really high on both sides. And if we don't end this fight in this generation, this cycle will continue and our next generations won't even know what are we fighting for and why are we fighting. We always should go back to the question of why. Pakistani and Indians, we look the same. Our food is similar. Our cultures, our tradition, our entertainment are all similar. I have so many Indian friends. My kids have Indian friends. I watch Bollywood movies. I know Indians watch Pakistani dramas. Our celebrities go to India and perform and are loved, and their celebrities come to Pakistan and they are loved. We used to be the same country for centuries. My grandfather actually is Indian. He moved to Pakistan when he was 17, when the partition happened. His sisters stayed in India. He didn't see his sisters. He couldn't talk to them. Most Pakistanis can't even go to India. They don't get visa. So because of the tension, there are so many families that have been divided. It has been going on for so long. Our borders may divide us, our flags may be different, but we were never meant to be enemies. Not yesterday, not today, and not in the future. Let's hope for a better future for our kids. Please share your comments in the comment section and I'll see you next time.